All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vendo podcast. We've got a special one today because it is Hiram Gonazalez, our strategic account manager for Walmart's very first podcast. This is his debut today, so we're really pumped up. We're focusing on providing our audience with more Walmart content. As you all probably know from some of our past podcasts, we are a marketplace growth agency focused on Walmart, Amazon, and very soon Target. So definitely want to make sure we're providing you all with the best content and up-to-date resources for Walmart as well. Hiram is very deep into the Walmart space and is going to be talking today about how to become a pro seller on Walmart. So if you're on Walmart and you want to see greater success, this is definitely going to be relevant. If you've been considering getting onto Walmart, we've had some past podcasts and blogs about how to get onto the marketplace. And in this podcast, we'll let you know once you're on, what you can do to become a pro seller. So Hiram, I want to give the floor to you, man. Let's kick it off. Why don't we just start with just a quick overview about Walmart Marketplace, and then we can dive into the details.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. I appreciate you. Just about Walmart Marketplace. So it's a fairly new channel for Walmart. And obviously it was established to kind of challenge with, the amount of sellers that Amazon has on their marketplace. So Walmart has been dumping a lot of, money and resources towards this. And like I said, it's fairly new, has a lot of new programs, new projects. And, I'm really excited to talk about like the pro seller badge here.
Awesome. Yeah, Walmart's just blowing up right now. I was at the Prosper conference. For those of you that don't know, it's one of the biggest Amazon conferences in the world, kind of unofficial, official conference, thought leaders from around the world. And this was the first year that they had a session dedicated to Walmart. So who knows, maybe it'll be one of the biggest Walmart conferences too in the future. But what they talked about in that conference was how Walmart right now is basically where Amazon was in 2014. And for those of you who know Amazon in 2014 or can imagine, it wasn't nearly as big as it is now. It was big, but for brands and sellers, it was a little bit easier. There was less competition. There was less complexity. I would say nowadays it's more robust and there's a lot more you can make of it, but that also makes it harder. So, the fact that they're comparing Walmart to Amazon in 2014 just speaks volumes to the potential and really the need to get onto Walmart Marketplace now, get in early before your competition does. So yeah, let's jump into it, Hiram. Talking about how to become a pro seller. Now, what is this new incentive for marketplace sellers?
Yeah, so it's super exciting because the marketplace is growing so much for Walmart and they're rolling out these new programs. So for example, this one is like something that I'm passionate about. It's the Pro Seller Badge. And it's essentially just like a new incentive for sellers, right? So the way it's seen is like a mark of excellence given to like top performing marketplace sellers. And basically, the way the customer sees this is as like a physical badge on the PDP where it says like sold and shipped by like the respective seller. So it's not only meant to be like an eye-catching addition to a seller's presence, but like also as a way to distinguish the buyer, from like other sellers, and it just makes it seem like more trustworthy, right? So, Nick, is like like now more than ever, it's just like super important to instill buyer confidence to their shopping experience. So having this, like you're doing like a huge favor for yourself. And I mean, we all know Walmart as like a household name, but like with the addition of these thousands of marketplace sellers, it's just becoming increasingly important to develop like a strong brand reputation.
Yeah, definitely. Couldn't agree more. And now, does it cost anything to join to get this kind of pro seller badge, or how do you get it? What does it take to get this badge?
Yeah, so I could talk more about that like later down, but like no, it's like completely free. Like it's an incentive for sellers. So
Mhm.
it costs nothing to have. And anyone can partake in it as long as you're meeting certain requirements, which again I'll talk about a little bit later. But honestly, like I said, it's just another incentive that Walmart put in place to just, make you stand out for doing the right things as a seller.
Okay, so so you talked a little bit about some of the benefits earlier. It makes you stand out, right? And it's a more prominent placement. For those of you more in the Amazon world, I'm thinking right now of like the Amazon bestseller or Amazon's choice badge that products get, not necessarily sellers, but products get that badge. So what would you say are the benefits of being a pro seller on Walmart?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, there's really just like a myriad of benefits to having this badge like right by your name. So, I recommend everyone to, strive for that because ultimately that leads to more sales. But just like right off the bat, you're building trust with your shoppers and that ultimately drives conversion. With like thousands of sellers on Walmart Marketplace, standing out as a reliable choice is super important. So you're being recognized for that performance. So as a customer, like that guesswork is being taken out of the online shopping experience. So it's a win-win situation for the buyer and the seller. Um, in addition, like another benefit you have is like boost exposure, right? So like if you put yourself in the shoes of a customer and you're seeing these things kind of like when you're on Instagram and you see like the verified badge, like you're prone to know that that's like legitimate, right?
Mhm.
So this badge is seen as like
Mm,
an eye-catching experience in like the search results. So ultimately you're increasing the visibility of your products. Um
yeah.
One thing though is that like unlike Amazon, Walmart doesn't rank pro sellers like higher in search. So rather than that, shoppers are kind of left to like vet sellers themselves within their searches. So like Amazon on the other hand, like they reward like top performing merchants with like higher placement, organic search, all like into that algorithm. It's different like on the Walmart end, and like I think that has to do with the fact that this is like still like a very new program that's being rolled out.
Interesting. So the badge, does it show up in search results? Like if I'm looking for energy drinks and like there's some of the brands let's just say Red Bull. They have that badge. Is it going to actually show up for that product in search results, or where does it show up?
Yeah, so you see the badge basically everywhere in the customer journey, and I think that's the
Mm,
super cool thing is that like it appears everywhere you go on Walmart.com. So starting from like the search results page to the item page to the add to
mm.
cart to checkout, like that badge follows you, which I think is a really cool feature that Walmart implemented in this program.
Yeah, no, that I mean, it makes sense, right? Anything to stand out more, boost credibility, boost confidence. That's going to get you that click, right? That's going to give you an edge over the competition. And as long as you've got a product page that's set up for success, set up to convert, that that's one step closer to that conversion, right? Because you're gonna boost that click through rate. Does the badge show up on any of the ads?
No, no, it doesn't. So,
Yeah,
it's really just like on the breadcrumbs, right? So when you like get from like more general to more specific, like that's where
yeah,
it's showing up.
got it.
That is like a good point. I actually don't see that happening, especially with the merging of the sites. But if like new changes are implemented, Walmart will be telling like these sellers ahead of time in like their marketplace newsletter.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that'd be nice because it would also probably boost the click through rate on your ads, supporting that in that way. Great. So I'm kind of sold on this. What does it take to earn this badge? What do we got to do? What do we do for our brands, Hiram?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple just in terms of like how they lay out like the structure and the format on like how to get there. It's really just four things you need to do. Some are gonna take more time than others just because that's how it works. But like the first thing is making sure you have like a high on-time delivery rate.
Mm,
So, and that's based off of like 90 days. That's how they like measure it, like over the past
mhm.
3 months. So making sure like your delivery defect rate is less than or equal to 5%. So like in other words, making sure your on-time delivery rate is 95%. So like that's one of the most
Got it.
important things, obviously, to like just make sure there's like a positive impact on like the customer shopping experience. The second thing is having a low cancellation rate. So this is just like very strict. You need to have less than 1% over the past 90 days. It's honestly like not too hard as long as like your products are set up correctly,
Hmm.
and depending on like the volume of orders. The third thing, which is pretty unique, is offering free online and in-store returns. So,
Mm.
and that's for your entire catalog. So if you have like 5 items, they all need to have this. Or if you have like 100 items, you need to make sure your entire catalog has like free online and in-store returns with like no restocking or like return shipping fees. Um, and then the
Interesting.
last, yeah. And then, excuse me, the last thing is having like a high listing quality score. So this is kind of like in reference to your content scores,
Hmm.
making sure that 60% of your catalog for trending items have a content score higher than 50%. Um, and the way that the listing quality score is measured is based off of three things. So it's content and discoverability, your offer, like how much it costs in like comparison to like other sellers. And then the third thing is ratings and reviews. So if you're trying to improve all these metrics on an item level, you can literally just go on like the listing quality dashboard, and it literally tells you right there what you need to do to like improve your score. So that's been super helpful. Like for example, if you want to change like the amount of images, like you can do that. Or if you want to
Mm.
optimize your title, that's something else. A really big thing to win too is like making sure you have like an average rating of like 4 stars and at least 25 reviews. That's
Okay.
just like the threshold for like Walmart. So I always encourage like my sellers and my suppliers to just make sure that they have like review generation campaigns or
Hmm.
like review syndication through their like D2C sites or other retailers.
Excellent, excellent. So let's say you do all those things, you meet all those thresholds. Do you just automatically get enrolled in the program, or how do you actually receive the badge?
Yeah, Nick, that's actually a good question. A lot of like my sellers have asked that. It's actually quite simple. It is automated, and it's like the criteria is reviewed by Walmart's internal team twice a month. So that's like the 5th and the 20th of the month. So
Okay.
like for example, if you do have the badge, but like your criteria is falling low, and like they check it on like the 20th, like you'll no longer have the badge. But then if you can like boost up like your performance metrics by like the next cycle, you'll have the
Wow.
badge again. So it's all pretty cool. It's like super automated. But like the biggest thing from that is just always making sure like your performance metrics are just complying to Walmart's like marketplace standards.
Interesting. So you said the 5th and the 25th, it's refreshed?
The 5th and the 20th of every
The
month.
5th and the 20th. Okay. Um, and so you can go in and out of being a pro seller, basically.
Yeah, which has happened to me.
Okay. And then have you seen that frequency change ever, like the 5th and the 20th, or has it been constant for those dates?
Shout out to Walmart. They're like super on it. Like they're super
Yeah.
constant with that. So like, and they don't give you any like leeway. It's just the 5th or the 20th. If you don't have it, so if like your return rate is like 1.1 and it should be one or less, like sorry, you don't have the badge. Like try again like the next time around.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Well, it's good to hear they're on top of it. Uh, Now, if anyone has questions about eligibility for a pro seller badge, obviously, feel free to reach out to us. Hello@vendocommerce.com, and we're happy to help where we can. But let's say they want to try to do it on their own. Who do they reach out to?
Um, so like I guess there's two answers to that question, right? If they're trying to do it on their own, you can check on Seller Center, right? So you just log into your Seller Center account, you go to the growth opportunities tab, and then under analytics and reports, you'll see the pro seller badge section right there. So you can like check it, right?
Mm.
And once you get there, there's like four statuses for if like you're a pro seller or not. So it's like eligible, not eligible, badged, and then badged with alert. So
Mm,
for not eligible, it just means like you're not meeting like the minimum requirements. So like you need to like review your performance metrics and make sure like you're hitting like certain targets. For eligible, it means like you're meeting the minimum criteria, and then you just have to wait until the next cycle to like qualify for that badge. Badged obviously means you have it, like you're meeting all the minimum
yeah,
requirements, so you're good to go. And then badged with alert means like you have the badge right now, but like it's looking like in the next cycle, some of your metrics aren't where they need to be. So it's kind of just like a reminder, or like like a friendly warning to get
yeah,
your, get your performance metrics up before like you might have the badge removed.
yeah.
So that's how you do it if like you're trying to do it by yourself. But like if you have any other questions and like you're not trying to like reach out to like us, um sometimes sellers have like dedicated account managers or just like a person of contact. And if you don't, like my recommendation is to just always file like a partner help ticket, and then you can just follow along right there like what it is that you need to do.
Excellent, excellent. So it sounds like there's a lot of different avenues they can go down and get help. So that's always great. Now let's put on our our into the future vision here, and what do you think like are some additional benefits that might come down the road for having a pro seller badge, like, or whether it's a wish list of benefits that you would get or what you actually think is realistic.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. So one good thing I do have is that like Walmart, the marketplace team has communicated that additional benefits are on the way. I would say it's something similar to like Amazon's top sellers, or like I know eBay has a program like that too. Um, Possibly like redesigning the badge to follow the customer and just, give it kind of like a new feel, especially with like this new site coming soon. So Walmart hasn't disclosed exactly what they're going to be doing. But just in terms of like current benefits, we can look at them and just ask ourselves like, with this benefit, like how can we take advantage of more, right? So like whether that's increased visibility on search listings, or instilling buyer confidence, or just higher conversion rates. I think those are all key parts of this program that are potentially going to be changing for the better. um like I said, Walmart hasn't released a statement yet, but when they do, you can expect it on like your marketplace newsletter.
Yeah, no, and it makes sense, right? Because it's a win-win-win, right? Win for the brands, win for the customers, and win for Walmart. It's instilling confidence in the whole process, and encouraging brands to step their game up. Instilling confidence in the customers, and then for Walmart, obviously, just creating a more customer friendly and brand friendly environment of high quality sellers and performance. So I always think of Amazon, of course, and how everything they do can be rooted in providing the most customers the best customer experience, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, unfortunately, that the brands or the sellers get the short end of that stick. But in this situation, it sounds like there's really not too much of a negative. It's just a positive if you check all those boxes. So speaking about checking all those boxes, what if you mentioned earlier that that you need to qualify for free online or in-store returns. Is that 100% requirement, or what do you do if you don't qualify?
Yeah, it's 100%. And I know sometimes it gets pretty technical depending on the items. Um, so for that, like you can always reach out to like an AM or like your point of contact to see like your eligibility. But what you're going to want to do if this is the case is like you can download and review the item list on the Pro Seller Badge model in the listing quality dashboard. And if you actually do have like true exceptions based on your return eligibility, And like if you're meeting all the other criteria, again, you just email like your person of contact, or you file the ticket.
Mm.
And they're usually pretty good about that type of stuff. Just because I know some items can be difficult based off of like weight, like volume, just like where it's shipping to. So all that stuff makes sense.
Yeah, like a big bulky item, yeah, free shipping, could very easily eat into that profit margin, and free return shipping could basically make that product not profitable for the brand to offer free returns. So it's good to know that there's a potential avenue for those types of brands, with that issue to go down. So that's one potential issue with getting the badge. You talked earlier about the different ways to qualify, and how your listing quality score is an important factor. Any other tips on how to increase the listing quality score?
Yeah. Obviously just always making sure you like you're just checking that way, like you're not falling off, like if you are badged. But like when it comes to like more granular things that you can do, like what I always do is make sure I'm unpublishing out of stock items. So
Mm,
these are just, it's just like you retire items that you no longer plan on bringing back, just because that does contribute still to your listing quality score, right? So for example,
wow.
you're out of stock on like this, protein bar, and like the content just isn't where it needs to be. Like the system is still taking that into consideration. So what's best to do is to just unpublish it. That way, like the system doesn't take that like content score into like the whole average. um
Yeah.
just like continuing with like what to do in terms of content. I'd work in batches when it comes to like updating content. So for example, if you're working towards the seller badge, I'd isolate items based off of like content score. So like I said, you have to have 50% or higher. I'd start working on the items that are like 40 to 50%, just because that's like lower hanging fruit.
Mm,
And so I'd like add attributes. I'd look, do I need more images, like a longer description? Like I'd work on that, and then I'd go to the lower items. So like the 30 to 40%, and then like the 20 to 30. Hopefully you don't have items that have like a content score of 20%, but just work in batches.
yeah.
And then just because you reach 50 like doesn't mean you should stop. Like that's just the minimum. So the best results often come from items who have like 65 to 70%, which is very feasible to do. Thanks to like Walmart, thanks to Seller Center's new like listing quality dashboard. um so I always recommend, like I said, filling out like missing attributes that are pertinent to your items. And one big thing is actually shipping. So if you absolutely can't offer like 2 day shipping, I would go for 3 day shipping. Um,
Mm,
3 day shipping is not currently factored in to give like the listing quality score a boost, but Walmart has communicated that it will be in the future. So
mm,
it's best that like your items are on that right now. And that's not just for like being a pro seller, but just like in general, like there's two things that customers want. It's like cheap products that could get delivered fast. So if you could offer 3 day shipping, like that's obviously a huge win for like you and like your brand. um so yeah, like just focusing on like content scores, shipping, and then just focusing on like your best sellers, like making sure that they're in good shape. So take some time out of your day. It doesn't have to be a lot. And then just make sure like that your top sellers are performing, whether that's like sales, like there's enough inventory, like you're possibly spending on like advertising. Just always make sure like you have the highest score possible.
excellent, man. You just dropped some pro tips on them. Those were good insights, and definitely, hopefully some things that wouldn't meet the eye, and people would have thought of. So thanks for sharing that. So we've covered a lot today, right? We've gone over what the what the incentive is for marketplace sellers to get this badge. It doesn't cost anything to join. Really, the cost is putting in the work to keeping a high listing quality score and meeting those other eligibility requirements you mentioned. And then we talked about the benefits of having that badge. The click-through rate benefits, the credibility enhancement. and all of the potential benefits that, you know, Amazon might roll out here in the future. So hopefully this has been, you know, very informative and helpful for everyone. Any final thoughts, Hiram? Any last words?
Yeah, I mean, just like sum it up, like this new program is just like Walmart's latest innovation to just building credibility within the marketplace, since, you know, like this is like a fairly new channel for them. So the way I see it is like this is just like enticing for both the customer and the buyer to like promote a new shopping experience to everybody. So kind of like I said in the past, just like the verified users badge on like Twitter or like
Mm.
Instagram or like even Facebook, like this pro seller badge is like seen as a company's top priority to building like trust and professionalism and just like providing like the best quality for like Walmart shoppers. You know, like it's all about the shopper for Walmart. So always just make like continuous efforts to like review your products, making sure like you're meeting like the eligibility criteria, like your performance metrics. And you know, hopefully in the future we see like new like benefits roll out for like this program.
Awesome. Thank you, Hiram. Yeah, this is, you know, again, a very exciting time to be getting onto Walmart.com. You know, and you want to make sure you're doing as much as you can to get ahead of the competition. So you heard it here, all the ways to become a pro seller on Walmart. If you have any questions at all, feel free to leave some comments below. Email us at hello@vendocommerce.com, and I'll make sure it gets to Hiram. Yeah, and look forward to seeing you all next week. Follow us on Vendo Commerce, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and thank you all for joining us. See you next week.
Thank you, Nick.